What's up, Oni-chans? In this video, we're gonna be talking about Konosuba and the COVID vaccine. Now, the coronavirus is a lot like the Demon King. Both hail from mysterious origins, both are invisible to the naked eye, and both undoubtedly put the world in great peril. Many adventurers have tried to save the world from the Demon King, just like how many candidate drugs try to save the world from the coronavirus. But at first, nothing seemed to be of any avail. Just when all hope seemed lost, a hero rose from the ashes. Kazuma, the mRNA, would challenge the world's greatest enemy, but he knew that he wouldn't be able to do it alone. Because mRNA, despite its vast potential, is extremely fragile. Just like how Kazuma is a glass cannon that dies at least twice every fucking season, mRNA is a fragile molecule that is disintegrated within seconds when it is isekai'd from the scientific lab to our bodies via an intramuscular injection. For lab-made mRNA to survive inside our bodies, it needs help. It needs its waifus, and mRNA's waifu is a lipid nanoparticle. Just like how Kazuma's got 3 waifus, a lipid nanoparticle consists of a harem of 3 lipids, called a helper lipid, an ionizable lipid, and a PEG lipid, and this ecchi entourage congregates to form the COVID vaccine. mRNA makes proteins in our cells, which our immune cells can later use to defend us from the coronavirus, and lipids help mRNA enter our cells without getting disintegrated. The helper lipid takes the brunt force of the damage that the COVID vaccine must endure as it traverses through our body. The helper lipid is a fucking tank. It's got no stat points in offense, but it's got a whole lot of defense. It's thick and sturdy, and that protects the mRNA from the harsh environment in our bodies. The lipid with the most stat points in intelligence is the ionizable lipid. She may seem kawaii and harmless under normal conditions, but when shit gets real and the lipid nanoparticle is taken up by our cells, the ionizable lipid will begin to unleash a powerful When lipid nanoparticles enter our cells, they are often trapped in small bubble-like structures called endosomes, which render the COVID vaccine useless. This is until the ionizable lipid casts her unusual magic. Endosomes have an acidic environment while the rest of our body is somewhat neutral, and ionizable lipids become positively charged under only acidic conditions. Once the ionizable lipid starts charging up due to the acidity of the endosome will explode, freeing up the mRNA and allowing the mRNA to start making proteins inside our cells. But what about the hypotenuse of our waifu triangle? The PEG lipid may seem useless, considering that the helper lipid and ionizable lipid already do a lot of heavy lifting. However, this unappreciated party trick waifu is perhaps the most important lipid of them all. The PEG lipid is a water goddess. Lipids, under normal circumstances, really do not like water. The PEG lipid, however, is an exception. It's outgoing, and it's basically the only lipid molecule that interacts with both water and other lipids. And because of the PEG lipid's great affinity with water, she gives the COVID vaccine the stability it needs in aqueous solutions. In other words, she keeps the COVID vaccine stable in our bodies, which is 70% water. Although the Konosuba party has done, what's the right way to put it? All to top of the Demon King, the COVID vaccine has successfully dethroned the coronavirus. Given that the Konosuba anime is actually a highly intellectual metaphor for the COVID vaccine, I predict that one day, after many more years of brain rot adventures, the Konosuba party will, somehow, someway, vanquish the Demon King.